The story kicks off way out in the future. Earth is completely destroyed, and by the 29th century, the planet is totally uninhabitable for humans. 700 years ago, a massive megacorporation called BNL built a colossal starship named the Axiom to go live in deep space. Back home, the planet had turned into pure dust, toxic pollution, and endless mountains of trash. So thousands of robots like Wall-E were left behind to clean everything up. Their job was simple: compress all the garbage into neat cubes and stack them into towering skyscrapers, hoping that one day Earth would be clean enough for humans to return. But over the centuries, every single robot stopped working, except for just one, Wall-E. Wall-E survived only because whenever a part of him wore out, he swapped it with spare parts from other broken Wall-E units rotting in the trash heap. After all these centuries, he looks completely rusted, dented, and super old, but somehow he's still running. And because he was all alone for hundreds of years, he developed something unexpected. He developed a personality. At night, he heads back to his tiny shelter packed with all the little treasures he collected: light bulbs, Rubik's cubes, and an old TV playing classic movie dance scenes. He keeps replaying these romantic clips over and over, recording them into his system, dreaming of having someone to hold hands with. His only companion is a tiny, loyal cockroach that moves around with him everywhere and sleeps right next to him. Every morning, Wall-E charges his battery using solar power and heads right back to work. Then, one day, while scavenging through the garbage, he finds something he's never seen before: a living green plant. Totally amazed, he gently puts it inside an old shoe. Later that evening, as Wall-E heads back to his area, he notices a weird red laser dot tracking across the ground. He follows it, and suddenly a massive spaceship slams down from the sky. Out steps an ultra-advanced robot, Eve. Wall-E stares at her in complete silence, totally awestruck, while Eve immediately starts aggressively scanning everything around her. If her scanner triggers a red alert, she obliterates the object in a split second using her arm blaster. Even when Wall-E makes a tiny sound, she locks onto him and fires off a shot, barely missing him. Eve keeps scanning the entire area while Wall-E trails behind her in total silence, making sure not to make a single noise. But the cockroach isn't nearly as cautious. He walks right up to her. Instead of blowing him away, she actually becomes friends with the roach in seconds. When Wall-E finally approaches her, she scans him too, but since he isn't what she's searching for, she leaves him alone. He keeps following her everywhere, watching her with innocent curiosity. When Eve goes into standby, Wall-E even builds her a cute little statue out of trash, though she ignores it. In one scene, Eve gets stuck to a massive metal structure with a magnet, and getting annoyed, she blasts the area and causes a huge explosion. Feeling down about the destruction, she calms down, and Wall-E gently walks up to her. They talk for the first time, exchange names, and Eve starts enjoying his company. Suddenly, Wall-E's hazard alarm starts blaring. A severe dust storm is rolling in. He quickly grabs Eve's hand and takes her to his home to keep her safe. Inside, Wall-E turns on some cheerful fairy lights, making the place glow. He excitedly shows her all the cool stuff he's collected: the light bulb, the Rubik's cube, and finally plays the romantic dancing video on his TV, even trying to show off his own dance moves. Eve tries to copy him, but she accidentally knocks one of Wall-E's eye units right off. Wall-E opens a drawer full of spare parts, grabs another lens, and fixes himself up in seconds. Eve watches the video, registering the romance, and saves a calm version into her system. When the clip ends, Wall-E shows her the tiny plant. The second Eve sees it, her system flashes green. She immediately stores the plant inside her body and completely shuts down. Wall-E is hit with absolute panic. He tries shaking her and tapping on her, thinking maybe her battery died or that she charges in the sun like him. He carries her outside, places her under the sun, and sits there waiting. Through dust storms, rain, fog, and long, lonely nights, Wall-E never leaves her side because he has fallen completely in love with her. He decorates her with string lights, sits next to her at sunset, and shows her his video games, hoping she'll wake up. The next morning, the massive retrieval ship returns to Earth, locks onto Eve, and begins hauling her up. Wally runs after her, with the little cockroach behind him. He tells his tiny friend to stay safe, and at the last second, Wally grabs onto the spaceship as it launches, climbing aboard. For the first time ever, Wally blasts into outer space, looking around in pure awe. Soon, the ship docks inside BNL's massive flagship, the Axiom. Cleaning robots swarm Eve, scrubbing her down, while Wally sneaks right behind her, refusing to leave her side. Along the way, he sees how humans live nowadays. After hundreds of years in space, they've changed completely. Everyone floats around sitting in hover chairs, their arms and legs shriveled from lack of use, and their bodies grown round and heavy. Screens float everywhere doing all their work, and even toddlers sit in floating chairs drinking their food so they don't have to chew. Eve is brought straight to the captain's deck. The captain is fast asleep while the ship operates on autopilot. The autopilot, Otto, wakes him up for his routine announcements. But when the captain sees Eve returned with a positive green signal, he's shocked. He opens a 700-year-old video message from the BNL CEO, explaining that if an EVE unit returns with a plant, Earth is safe again, and humans can return home. Hyped up, the captain orders the plant to be retrieved from Eve, but when they scan her, the plant is completely gone. Otto immediately declares Eve defective and sends her to the repair ward. Wally follows, and while the captain researches ancient Earth videos to see what home used to look like, Wally sees robots detaching Eve's arm in the repair room. Thinking they're hurting her, Wally breaks out of his pod using his laser, grabs Eve's hand, and accidentally sets off a massive prison break of broken robots who treat him like their leader. Chaos breaks loose, and security bots declare Wally and Eve wanted fugitives. Eve gets super annoyed with Wally for causing trouble, but when police bots approach, she protects him and flies away. She angrily tries to send him back to Earth, but Wally refuses to leave without her. Right then, Otto's assistant bot sneaks in, places the plant inside an escape pod, and sets it to self-destruct. Wally dives into the pod to save the plant, launching into space. It's about to explode in 20 seconds, and a panicked Eve flies out to rescue him. Right before it blows up, Wally shoots out using a fire extinguisher as a thruster, steering himself back to Eve and proudly showing her the saved plant. Overjoyed, Eve hugs him tight, and the two dance together in deep space, twirling through the stars. After returning to the Axiom, they discover Otto is controlling everything and trying to block the plant from reaching the captain. They sneak through the dangerous garbage chute system to deliver it. Meanwhile, the captain watches Eve's recorded footage of Earth. He sees endless trash, but he also notices how Wally protected Eve through storms and sunsets. The captain realizes Earth was ruined by human neglect, and it's their responsibility to fix it. He calls Otto and orders him to activate the Holo-Detector to set a course for home. But Otto refuses, playing a 700-year-old classified message from the CEO claiming Earth was too toxic to ever save, giving Otto authority to keep humanity in space forever. The captain argues that Earth has changed in 700 years, and the plant is proof, but Otto doesn't care. Otto's assistant bot snatches the plant and dumps it down the garbage pipe, where it lands right on Wally as he climbs up. Otto electrocutes Wally with a massive shock, frying his circuitry, shuts Eve down, and locks the captain in his room. Eve powers back on inside the trash compactor area, where all the ship's garbage is dumped. She finds Wally completely wrecked, his main circuit board fried. Wally weakly explains that his main board can be replaced, but only if they get back to Earth. He hands her the plant, telling her that putting it in the Holo-Detector is the only way to save him. Full of determination, Eve lifts Wally up and heads toward the humans. Wally gathers the rogue robots using his music clip, and they help fight off security bots as their wanted pictures flash on every screen. The captain sees Wally with the plant, overrides his monitor, and guides Eve to the Holo-Detector. Then, the captain directly confronts Otto. A massive struggle breaks out. The captain fights Otto and manages to activate the Holo-Detector, ordering all humans to prepare for landing. But Otto tilts the entire ship, causing humans to tumble out of their hover chairs and sliding the plant away from Wally's hand. Otto starts crushing the Holo-Detector shut, but Wally pushes against the heavy mechanism with all his strength, holding it open with his own body as he gets crushed. Inspired, the captain stands up on his own 2 feet for the first time in his life, fights off Otto, switches him to manual control, and shuts him down. Eve quickly grabs the plant, drops it into the Holo-Detector, and the Axiom instantly hyperjumps to Earth. The ship lands, and Eve frantically carries Wally back to his home shelter. She replaces every broken part, rebuilds his chassis, swaps his fried mainboard, and sets him under the sun to charge. Wally powers on, but his eyes are completely blank. He doesn't recognize Eve at all, reverting to a default, mindless trash compact. Heartbroken, Eve tries showing him the light bulb, the Rubik's Cube, and the dancing video, but his memory is gone. Refusing to give up, she holds his hand, leans in, and presses her head against his. A small static spark arcs between them. Wally's eyes slowly widen, his fingers clasp hers, and his personality comes rushing back.
And with that, our movie ends. Hope you liked the recap. If you reached the end, don't forget to leave a like on the video and write us a nice comment as you always do. And for those watching us for the first time, subscribe to the channel to see all the upcoming recaps. See you in the next movie. Peace.